Hello, and welcome to Roly Poly Weight Loss. I'm your host, Roly Poly. Welcome to day 15. Let's get going. Okay, so earlier this week, I've been talking about motivation. And now I'm going to help you with all those steps that we established need to be accomplished. So, one of the things the experts recommend is to make a plan, and another is to track your progress. It might seem like working out or eating better is all you need to lose weight, but it turns out that there is a lot of prep and continuing paperwork, for lack of a better word. I think I said homework before. If you really want to commit to losing weight and getting healthier, and you want your best shot at succeeding, then the paperwork is kind of important. Both beforehand and then sort of as a continuing check-in process strategically throughout your process. To start, you'll want to spend a little time journaling in advance. And then, like I said, some kind of tracking throughout. And then you also might need/want to return to the journaling as you progress. Like we talked about before, motivations can change and evolve. And you'll want to check back in with yourself every so often about that kind of thing. You also might find that journaling becomes part of your routine. That is something that you find helpful. So, you never know. So basically, there are two ways to do all of these things, analog and digital. And I'll start with analog. If you're more inclined to this, get yourself a journal and or calendar and or planner. I like journaling for the why kind of things. You can find all kinds of journals with blank or lined or dotted pages on Amazon or in any bookstore. I also keep finding gorgeous journals in places like Michael's or Joann's. I don't know why, but they always have journals, and they can be really pretty and really motivational. So I don't know. And like I said, motivational. There are even ones with like motivational or fitness-related covers. So if you want a little extra inspiration, like make this be my healthy journal, pick a good cover for it, or you can put like a sticker on it. Something. Make it something that you like going to, okay? This doesn't just apply to like picking an exercise that you're going to enjoy doing. Pick a journal that inspires you, pick a cover that you're going to like seeing. Again, it shouldn't feel like work. It should be something that you're doing for yourself, okay? And then another great thing is that you can get them in all different sizes and thicknesses. So like, do you want one of those little index card sized ones that like fits in your pocket? Or like the large paperback size that would fit in your bag? Or do you want the full on like notebook 8.5 by 11 range? What will you actually keep track of, keep handy, and return to? And where are you going to keep this? Is this the kind of thing that's going to, again, live in your pocket or your bag? Is it going to live in your bedside table? Is it going to live at your desk? Where are you going to keep this? And what size does it need to be for you to actually get the most out of it? Remember, you want to return to this. You want to use it. You want it to inspire you. So it shouldn't be something that you end up like tucking away on a shelf and forgetting about for a year. So pick a home, and then pick a size that fits that home and your needs, and then pick a cover or a style that will bring you joy, as Marie Kondo says. Bring joy. So that's the journaling side of analog. For the tracking kind of things, I really like a school planner. And I like a specific kind of one, which even when I was in school, I had trouble finding. So I like the kind where you have the month at a glance, and then you also have the week breakdown of like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. because for some things, I like to look at them in a month at a glance style. And then for some things, I really need more space on that week to include more things. I always had trouble finding that kind. And I could always find like just calendars or just weekly breakdowns, but it was really hard to find both. So what I did finally find was Mead, and they make one. And I also really liked it because it's tropical, so it's always got like little pictures of like fancy tropical beaches, like sunsets and gorgeous crystal blue waters and stuff. And I always liked, looking at that. So, if that inspires you, I'll link to it. And it also comes in the baby size, the medium, and the full paper size. So, and the reason I like this, and not just for homework, is there are some things that you want to look at your monthly progress on. You want to be able to look at a month and say, oh yeah, I did this all these days in the month. There are some things that you need more of a breakdown within your day, or in your week, right? Maybe there's a specific series of things you do in a day, but you can make a shorthand in your month, right? You might need more space in your day to write down all the things, or to also note, hey, doctor's appointment this day, need to work around that, but you don't want that to show up in your did I do all my things calendar view. So I use the different styles for tracking different things in different ways. Water. Now, if you are doing this with a partner, a motivation buddy, something like that, you might want something that's joint. And then in that case, digital might be easier. But I will say, Rolling Mama and I are doing a variation on this calendar thing right now. We got one of those big desk calendars that we put on the wall. We've hung it up on the wall with just little sticky hooks. And then we got these great, ridiculous sticker packs at the dollar store. It was like, 150 stickers for $1. And the 2 packs we got are really goofy in summer, and they all have these horrible puns in them about like tropical stuff. And they're ridiculous, and some of them are like poofy and some are shiny, and they just make us smile. So we're tracking our workouts on this by adding stickers when we do something, when we do our No Zero Day May, and then when we do our workouts outside of that. So at the end of the month, we have this giant thing full of these ridiculous stickers, and it makes us smile. It makes us smile to see it. So, that's something that we actually will go back to. And then again, in, a month or two, when we've exhausted those stickers, we'll go to the dollar store and get whatever they've got next. Get some other random funny stickers. To just keep track of it. So that's something that we're able to track together. And I'll put a picture of it. That we're able to see, and keep each other accountable. So that's a good thing about having a motivation buddy, is accountability, that they can look and say, hey, you didn't put your sticker on today. And then you have to explain, why didn't I put my sticker on today? So yeah, something bigger like that is great when you've got multiple people. But even in the small version for yourself, get some little stickers. They have stickers that are the smaller size, like these ones are, that. But they have little stickers, little smiley faces and stuff. I used to use that all the time. I got a little sheet of rainbow smiley faces, and I'd give myself a smiley face when I did something. So, you can do that. Give yourself that little shiny or sparkly or pretty reward. That when you look at your month, you can go, oh, look at all those shinies I got. So now this calendar I talked about, just for our workout and activity, not for food or anything else that we should be or are tracking. So that's just one thing. And if you're an analog person, seeing that calendar can be really motivating. But you also need to track the other things. So that's where a journal or a kind of a planner that has more things to it than the calendar, than just the month at a glance calendar, can be really helpful. Maybe you use the calendar for tracking, you know, that you did your activities and your meditation or whatever, but then you use the daily breakdowns to log your food. Something like that. You also might find a journal really helpful for logging food. I've certainly done that in the past where I just use a normal notebook journal, and then each page is a day or whatever, and I just track my food on there. I know Rolling Mama does something similar. She's a very analog person, and she has this little sheet divided into boxes where she was tracking her food. So, you know, there's different ways to do it. You can also get some water. You can also combine these things into something like a bullet journal. And I'm going to link you to BuzzFeed. Sorry, not sorry. They do have these two great articles on bullet journals. The first one is what is a bullet journal, and then the second one is a ton of links to amazing pictures of amazing bullet journals that you can get some inspiration from. So bullet journals, if you don't know, are a way of kind of combining calendar and list and journal and bucket list and everything into one just gorgeous hybrid mostly by people with way more time and way better penmanship than me. And they're just really inspiring to look at, even if you can't imagine crafting one half as well. But you can do it, and yours doesn't have to be as amazing and inspiring. Mine certainly never is. But it's a style where you can have like an index, and so you can have things like a daily journal, you can have a calendar page, you can have a tracker, you can have a page for your future goals, you can have a page for like different levels of goals, all this kind of different stuff in one journal. And it's just a style to do it in. So even if you don't end up using that style, it can still be really inspiring to look at it and get some good ideas and kind of steal them for your own. So the one thing I will say, I fail at bullet journaling, but I will say my favorite pen, I will recommend this. And it is I had to look it up, it is the Papermate Inkjoy. I'm normally not a fan of ink pens. I prefer ballpoint as they don't bleed as much, but these don't bleed as badly as many I've tried. And they come in lovely colors. I'm very much a rainbow color codey type of person. And they have decently soft tubes when you're holding them so they don't hurt your fingers. And I love them and they're gorgeous. So I will recommend those. If you do want to do some analog journaling, whether it's a bullet journal or a calendar or a planner or whatever, get yourself some pretty rainbow stickers that you can color, rainbow pens that you can color code with. So I'll say that. Now, as I said, Rolling Mama is very much an analog person. I am much more digital now. I've switched to digital for my scheduling needs, and that's mostly because I just do way too much rearranging and copy pasting, and it made my physical schedules look all messy. And I don't like that. I like it to be clean and neat, but I also need to change things all the time. So I tend to vacillate between two options. And yes, now we're getting into digital. So the first is Evernote, which is a very common product. A lot of people use it for notes. I love the way that I can do tick boxes on it, and I can color code the text, and I can sort notes into folders, and I can give them tags. All great. And you can clip things from online into it. There's a little online thingy you can put on the toolbar. And you can draw on it, and you can add pictures. It's great. Downside, columns are non-existent. Unless you like make a table, you can't do columns. And it can get a bit hard to find the notes if you have a ton in a single folder or tag. You have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. So, Evernote, positives, negatives. The other one I tend to use a lot is Google Drive. And I have done both with documents and with sheets, and I prefer sheets. But I love Google Drive in general because you can access it anywhere. You can have it on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, at your friend's computer, at the library, wherever. And like I said, I use Google Sheets because I can rearrange it really easily. And I can color code both the text and the box. So it opens up that whole realm of like super pastels and yellows and stuff that don't show words really well, but they make a great box. So your color coding just got infinitely more expansive. And why I prefer this to both Sheets and Evernote, to Docs and Evernote, is because Sheets already has all of those rows, or columns, so you can see so much more at a glance. Instead of just scrolling down through one long document or one long Evernote, you can have things lined up across. So you just get more at a glance. So that's why I prefer Sheets, usually. Columns, baby. Seeing more at a time. Now, I just discovered there is apparently a digital version of bullet journaling called GoodNotes. I literally just discovered this. I have not tried it yet. I intend to. As I said, I tend to use Sheets more for my scheduling, but for my journaling, I tend to either go analog or stick with Docs or Evernote. But I'm looking to try GoodNotes. If you have tried it, let me know what you think. So that is just for your prep work, for your journaling in advance, figuring out your why, your motivation, your potential roadblocks, all those things. That's what I mean when I say journaling. And then to start your tracking. Those are some examples. Now, another thing that can help with your weight loss and health goals is tracking things like your habits. And again, this is the kind of thing that you can track on a calendar or in a journal, but you can also go digital. And so there are a ton of great apps for this kind of thing. And you can get ones that are very specific to exercising or losing weight or things like that, or you can use very general ones. I'll start with general. So I currently use Habit List. I love that you can reorder the habits. You can kind of put them in the order you want them. You can set them up to be at different times, so you can have it be like a daily thing. You can say on a certain day of the week, like I want this to happen Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Or you can say I want this to happen like 3 times a week. And then the days are up to you. And so you can, or you can do, there's an option for like 2 to 3 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, that kind of thing. So if you get 4 one week, hey. If you get 5 one week, hey. So it's got a bunch of different options of how often you want a habit to appear. You can also backtrack to fill them in, and you can go into the little month at a glance and go poke, poke, poke if you like got off of filling it in for some reason, and you can go poke, poke, poke and fill it all in for a week. So if you're on top of it, if you did your habit like yesterday and you're good, it looks a little green for you to pop the bubble. It's green. If you missed yesterday but had gotten the day before, it's yellow. And I say this, obviously, if you're doing like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if you missed Wednesday but got Monday, that kind of thing. But so it's yellow. And if you are more out of date, it's red. And if it's something that's optional, like so many days a week or once a week, then it's gray. So just scrolling through the list, you can look and see, you know, what am I on top of? What did I miss? What did I forget to poke the bubble on yesterday? That kind of thing. And you can set it to send you reminders at a specific time, either in general for all your habits, or any given habit can have a specific set time reminder. So, you know, if you need that click of, you know, make sure to take your mid-morning break to stretch and walk around and eat your healthy snack or whatever, you can set that to happen. So those kinds of things. The downside that I have, and some days it's a minor downside and some days it feels like a major downside. You can't like archive a habit. You can change it. So like if you change your bedtime, you can just edit the thing. Or if you decide that you're going to use you're going to switch from dancing to swimming, you can just change your exercise to say go dancing to say go swimming, you know. But the only other option you have is just delete it and all of your past check-ins. So it's kind of all or nothing. If you stop tracking a particular habit, it is gone forever, or it just sits there accruing more red days. So that's a bit of a downside. Another habit tracker, which again you can use for general things or very specific to your weight loss, is Habitica. And it takes your daily things and it turns them into points in a little RPG game. It isn't as customizable as I would like, but if you're into Sprite era gaming, RPGs, and rewards, you might love this one. Very similar premise. And again, you get little points for your little dude. A tracker lets you color code your habits, and it'll show it on a daily calendar or on a little pie chart. And it has this interesting twist where you actually like start a habit, and then you stop it when you're done. So instead of saying, I did this today, you say, I'm doing this now, and I have finished it. So the good thing is you can see how much time you spend on something. But for habits that aren't really like timing specific, like, you know, update your journal, or like, you like post your, I'll get to happier in a minute, but like post your happier for the day isn't necessarily a thing you need to time, just that you need to check off as having been done. Or like things like if you want to meditate as you fall asleep, you wouldn't start meditating and then like go all night. Things that you don't want to stop or can't stop easily might be a bit less useful. And if you forget to turn it off, it can screw up your numbers on your pie chart because suddenly it took you an hour and a half to brush your teeth. So I'm not huge on it for that reason, but I do like the daily calendar breakdown aspect of it. So again, for some habits, that might be exactly the thing you want. That might be a great way to track your exercise or to track how much time you spend journaling or meditating or that kind of thing. Oh, and cool down. So, Productive seems to have the best of A Tracker and Habit List, with color coding and month-at-a-glance calendars, but you have to pay $30 a year for it. If it ends up being the kind of thing you want, that might be something you work into your budget. I'm currently just dealing with my frustration on Habit List. But there are lots of habit tracking apps. Coach Me, Noom, AnyList. There are a bunch of specific ones specifically for specific aspects of getting healthier. I talked before about water, how there's 8 billion water trackers. And how I use a specific one. There's all kinds of food trackers, which I'll get to, exercise trackers, and things like that. I talked about how you can track your exercise and your water on things like your Fitbit app, but there's also other ones that you can track food, activity, water, that kind of thing on. So, and I'll get to a bunch of the exercise and diet specific apps. When I get to food, I'll do an episode on those. But there are a bunch of them. So you can keep track of all those different things to get yourself motivated. And again, this is if you want to do it with apps. You can always put all of these things into a physical journal or a calendar too, if you want to do it analog style. Or if you just don't like apps, you might just create yourself a Google spreadsheet or a page in Notability that has all these things. So, and then finally, one of the recommendations was to celebrate successes and to have a positive attitude. And I have 2 apps I recommend here for different reasons. One, I just mentioned, is Happier. It's great for posting basically short tweets, kind of, to the Happier app about things that made you happy that day. You get a little toss of confetti when you post it, and others can smile and comment. And the whole app is geared towards positivity and supporting each other. And now that's not to say you can't post something emotional or if you're having a bad day or something. In fact, you can, and you get great support from the community. And you can post multiple times a day if you want. And some people seem to post like a dozen times a day. You can follow people whose posts you like or who find inspiring, and they can follow you. So it's a great little community that's built around positivity. It can be a great boost, both when you're feeling down to like see what they've posted or to get a little pep talk from them, and also just to share, I did a thing! So I really like that. And then the second app I like for this is Happy Feed. The goal of this app is to basically make a 3-item gratitude list or happy list every day. It's private. No one else sees your posts. There's no social aspect. But it helps you to build a habit of looking for the positivity and gratitude in life. And I had actually made a goal, I had been told to in self-help books, to note 3 things I was grateful for each day. And I had been doing that in my daily to-do list, or my note app, or my Notability. And then I found Happy Feed, and it just fit that goal perfectly. So these are both great apps for celebrating your successes and for keeping a positive attitude. So check them out for that. This is also the kind of thing that can be fun to put on a calendar or a journal that you can look back at. I wouldn't use the same one as your habit tracker. I would just have a little journal that's like my 3 happy things today, if you prefer analog. And I really like making it pretty with colorful pens, stickers, things like that, because it should be something that you can look back at when you're in need of some extra motivation, right? So pick something that will motivate and inspire you and make you smile. That brings joy. So that is it for today. We ran a tiny bit over our cool down, but I think it was important to talk about the last bit of the happy apps. So this has been Roly Poly Weight Loss. As always, I am your host, Roly Poly. Please share your motivations and how you're tracking things with the hashtag motivation. And if you have suggestions for helpful apps or programs, please share them. I always love to try new things, and if I get enough, I'll make an updated video. And please join me next time.